Okay, Carolina, can you introduce yourself and tell us about what you do and also what you did before?
Hello, Lisa. My name is Karolina Gurjazkaitė. I come from Lithuania. Currently, I'm a PhD student and I work in the field of research. I research ecological flows and other sustainability aspects related to rivers, barriers, and so on. Yeah. Before working in academia, I was also working with NGOs, also on a variety of topics, but also including the river restoration and sustainability issues around rivers.
hmm So when we talk about the work that you've done before in the NGO, were there some problems that you wanted to solve when you're talking about like barrier removal, any connectivity problems probably that you wanted to solve?
So yes, there's so it was probably 2018 or 19, so quite a few years ago now. I was digging into the question of barrier removal because before back then there was no known cases in Lithuania of barrier removals. And one of my tasks was to see if this practice could be established in Lithuania, if we could start removing the barriers. We had the situation similar to Europe, that we have a lot of unused barriers that don't serve any purpose. And the best way to address them from the European experience was by removing them. So I was trying to see if that was possible in Lithuania, and I conducted myself a one barrier removal project in 2020.
Oh wow, okay. So you were inspired by other barrier removal projects, basically.
Absolutely, absolutely. So in 2018, if I'm right, we had seminars with international experts who shared their experiences and good practices in Lithuania, from Demerol Europe, World Fish Migration Foundation, from other organizations that came to Lithuania to talk about their experience, and that was very motivating to solve barrier issues caused by barriers by removing them.
hmm
That was one reason. I'm also generally, as a person, I really believe that the way to address biodiversity issues is by restoring nature. So I think that's what's another
Yeah.
thing that really seeing the results that barrier removals bring abroad was very inspiring, as I think it's much more effective than finding technical solutions to the barrier cost issues.
And then you implemented your own barrier removal project.
Yes.
How did that go?
It went well. So it was a barrier on a tributary of one of our main rivers. So the river is called Bražuolė. It's a tributary of River Neris, which is a free-flowing river in the territory of Lithuania. So it has this amazing length from the sea of the free-flowing river
Mhm.
of I don't know, don't remember exact number, but it's something like 400 kilometers
Wow.
coming from the sea. So it was the first barrier. It was also the river had very valuable species, including salmonids, and was important for the spawning of salmon. It was also in the Natura 2000 area, in the protected area. So it was a very interesting and ecologically valuable area to work.
Yeah, very special. Um, so if there's a person interested in barrier removal, and since you implemented the project, do you have certain advice or some things that you should consider when implementing this kind of project, and probably also regarding the funding, for example?
Yes. Um, there's a lot of a lot of advice could be given probably in this area. I'm thinking, well, one of them was probably to have a list or find the barriers, just set the priorities. What barriers could be removed? That's one thing. set the criteria of barriers that could be removed and find those barriers. So that's one approach. When comes with funding, this specific barrier was removed in a very unique way. It was part of a crowdfunding campaign.
Mm.
Uh, that was the funds were sourced by WWF Netherlands and Dam Removal Europe. And so it's a very unique way to remove barriers, and it's a very good way, I think, to remove some of the barriers through the funding. Um, just there's a lot of we try to put a lot of funds in nature restoration or in ecological projects, and one of these places where can we allocate the fund for sustainability could be nature restoration, and I believe it's a very valuable place because it has a long-term impact on river sustainability. So this is one way. Of course, there's a lot of public funding. Currently, there's funds, Open Rivers program that are operating Europe-wide, and this is also a very good way to fund the barrier removals in your country, if it's a European country.
Hmm. Do you think there were, or would you say there were certain things that you would do different from looking back now, like certain things that you learned from the experience of implementing such a barrier removal project?
It's a good question. I think at that time it was since there was so little experience in Lithuania. I think everything what was done in the best way
Mm.
as it could have been done at that time. Today, I would probably look for better ways to engage the local community in barrier removal project to make sure that they are really engaged and connected and they know better, understand the importance of the barrier removal and why it is important for ecosystems
Hmm.
and how the community itself can actually benefit from the removal.
Hmm. Did you have people who were against your project?
People were it's a good question if they were against, but some of the people felt that they're not informed
Yeah.
or they were not engaged in the project. So yes,
Okay. So that's something that you would try to consider when implementing a new one to
yes,
involve the community from the beginning and
yeah.
have them. Okay. Yeah, I get it. Um, okay. Would you say there were aspects of your project that was very specific to the location, or were there certain things that were transferable to maybe other projects? Because it seems like you were one of the first ones in Lithuania to do this kind of barrier removal. Have you heard of new barrier removal projects that you might have inspired?
You mean in Lithuania, if there's
Yeah.
more barrier removal projects? There is more barrier removal projects that are mainly carried out by the government institutions.
Mm.
So they're led by national and local environmental authorities, and it's a very good feeling to see how this thing is advancing. So there's already people working on it, working from policy side, and people taking leading the projects. And this the barrier removal is actually growing in Lithuania, and that's a very good feeling.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's really cool because you were one of the first ones to start this basically. And
Yeah.
then you pushed the barrier removal in Lithuania. Um, any suggestion or anything that you would want to give as a key message for those interested in barrier removal or freshwater restoration in general, let's call it freshwater restoration, that you would want to share?
Suggestion.
Key
Well,
message.
that's a good question. I think it's what from my experience was it's very important to connect the people. So it's whether it's professionals or it's a communities, a variety of people, um, inform them, find a common ground with them, explain why is it important, connect various kind of people, various kind of professionals in your river restoration project. And I think it's a very important to the success of the project, yeah, in the long term.
What I also just realized is when you mentioned the dam removal, Europe, it's also a really nice community now to connect with others who are doing similar things in other areas of the world or in Europe, and then to exchange and to see that your work is, you're not alone trying to do this kind of work, but you also have a community of others who are also involved in this kind of
Yes,
actions.
I think it's very important to have to connect to experts from abroad. If the country is especially in the stage where there's no barrier removals, I think having support from experienced experts, exchanging knowledge is very, very important. Also to start this in your own country.
Mhm, mhm. Yeah, very true. Okay. Um, that would be it from my side, to be honest. If you have anything else that you would like to share, feel free. But otherwise, thank you so much for your time.
Thank
And
you too.
yeah,